As you can see here, this is a one that says families adjust to majority of young adults now live at home. And the picture of this, video had a pretty young woman coming home. So are they going to paint these young women coming home in a bad light? Let's see.
1940, the United States Census Bureau measured that 48% of young adults were living with their parents in the wake of the Great Depression. That figure stood as a record until this year. With life plans and budding careers put on hold during this crisis, millions of young people are moving back in with mom and dad. NBC's Ali Vitale has our Sunday Spotlight.
See the head, they've got a pretty young girl coming home. So I doubt they're going to say something negative. Okay.
Sunday Spotlight.
It's been a while since all the Holders have been under one roof.
The last time they all lived in the house, they were still kids, they were a little young. Now we have to make the transition.
Coronavirus pushing the Holder kids back into their parents' previously empty nest for both health and economic reasons.
It's smart to stay home and save money. I think it's what's best for me right now.
She's right. It's smart to stay home, save money, and it's best for her right now. That's true. But notice there's not an ounce of shame. And there shouldn't be an ounce of shame. But the point is, I don't think they would show it in this light if this was a young man talking. Well, they said both kids are theirs. How come they don't have the son talking?
Right now,
a job offer that once seemed firm, rescinded because of COVID. Alexis's plans to move into a place of her own with friends on the back burner as she worked hard to land a new job.
Do you feel like you're missing out on some of that stuff right now?
sometimes I think I'll be left out a little, but also I know in the long run, I think I will be happy that I'm at home.
Her parents are glad to have.
What is she missing out on? She's a grown adult now with her own job, right? Well, she doesn't. She lost her job, but I mean, she probably hangs around with friends all the time because they're in the same boat, right?
Her home, but can't help but think of the lost milestones.
The one thing I'm disappointed about is that she doesn't get the interaction of working in an office.
And privacy.
I'd be in a meeting, my mom would do the...
Why is that special? There's all kinds of artists who work at home. Matter of fact, most people, if they had their way, would be someone who would be independent to the point where they could work at home. They didn't have to deal with office politics and the stress of dealing with other people.
This thing, if she needed me, she'd flag me down behind the camera and I'd be like, Mom, go away. I'm clearly busy. I texted my family last week. If my door is closed, it means I'm in a meeting. You cannot come in. I'm like, ouch, that really hurt.
The Holders, just one of...
Yeah, this girl moves home and her space, her private space is respected. I think if you have young guys who are down and out and they come home, especially if they don't have a dad there, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, I suspect they would be lucky to have their space respected.
Of many families across the country trying to find a new normal, boundaries and all. From health concerns about cramped city living to being out of work and strapped for cash. Today, the majority of young Americans, more than 32 million adults, are now living with their parents, the highest number on record. A 9% increase from before the pandemic.
See, it's happening often enough. Now that it happens to enough people, then it's not shown so much in a bad light.
The previous record of 48% was set in 1940 at the end of the Great Depression. Today, it's mostly Gen Z flocking home in droves, just as millennials did during the 2008 recession.
This is also sort of a reflection of what happened.
So since this is normal, which it is, how come if some young guy suffers job loss, he's called a loser and a deadbeat?
In the Great Recession, there was no pandemic then, but just the lack of employment opportunities, the lack of income for young people certainly set a lot of people back on that road toward getting their own place.
It's more than just lost autonomy, but a completely disrupted cash flow for restaurants and bars in neighborhoods to landlords who are out more than $700 million a month in lost rent. Now, another generation facing the steep climb to adulthood, where marriage and kids come later, and 73%.
Well, marriage and children have always come later. They've been coming later ever since the end of the Second World War, when people choose not to burden themselves with children. Frankly, marriage is garbage anyway for men. So them getting into it just shows you how pathetic they are.
Percent will be bogged down with student loan debt.
There's just a lot of kind of financial anchors weighing down this generation and kind of their ability to launch.
For now, Alexis is staying where she is and finding a little more space thanks to her brother going back to school.
Yeah, he's getting out and doing stuff. You know, that he's not even talking. How come they're not talking to him? Why don't they talk to both of them? Aren't they both living in the same space?
Brother literally left 3 days ago. And as soon as he left, I was like, I'm making his room my office.
Now, this does happen in families all the time. You know, someone moves out, someone tries to grab up extra space. But remember, look, I mean, like, again, look at the big smile on her face. There's no shame for this girl to come back home. And they don't want to paint in a bad light, so they show her and they don't talk to the son at all. Why is the male half of this family ignored?
We haven't told him that yet, but I think I'll try to just make it work and stay positive and see my friends when I can and then hang out with my family when I.
Yeah, we haven't told him that because we haven't told you, once you go out on your own, son, you're not coming back. This is her space. That's her home. She's got the bedroom and she's got an office there. That's her home. The son doesn't have one. Once he's out, he is out.
I can because I haven't done that since high school, really.
For Sunday Today, Ali Vitale, Washington.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So as you see, you know, once the girls start coming home, they don't really like painting in the bad light, do they? So I mean, if this was happening just to guys, it'd be failure to launch would be the title of this film. This video. They would be shitting all over these young guys. But because the young women are coming, now it's just a something that happens, right? Anyway, you can see the video is all about these disgusting double standards. Anyway, your second-class citizens, gentlemen, know it. Even at home. Goodbye.